Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to News Talk with yours truly, Chris Anu, coming to you from Houston, Texas, the great state of Texas. Thank you for tuning in. I'd like to welcome all of you tuning in from all of Africa, from Cairo to Cape Town in South Africa. Thank you for tuning in. Those of you joining by way of the social media, it's a pleasure to be back here live to every one of you out there. Tonight, I bring you information of what is happening in the ground in Cameroon and the Federal Republic of Amazonia. I am here talking about the trial that is coming up on Thursday, the trial of the Naira 10. Sisiku'S, Yaounde, and 9 others. I will also be taking you to Likomba, Tico, where there was a fire incident out of an accident today in that town. And of course, I will update you on the gas plant sales in Bamenda today. The main subject today is the trial coming up on Thursday in Yaounde. I call it a political theater or a trial theater being put forth by La République du Cameroon. Do we expect anything to come out of it? Of course, not much. Not much, because Cameroon calculates everything that they do, especially when it has a political inclination to it. And so I'm going to bring you my talking point on that subject, and I will bring in my guest tonight, and we will do justice. We will do justice to that story. Once more, thank you for tuning in. Please hit your share button if you are joining by Facebook, and if you are joining by way of YouTube, hit the like and the subscribe button so you always receive notifications each time we are live. Thank you for tuning in. Don't touch your remote. I am just about starting.
Are you ready to unlock the power of AI? Mastering AI Tools, a practical guide to ChatGPT and OpenAI, is your ultimate gateway course to harnessing AI in your career or studies. Provided by Pascal Presentations LLC, a trusted name in cutting-edge education, this course empowers you with the skills needed to navigate and utilize AI effectively. Whether you're a professional looking to boost productivity, a student wanting to stay ahead, or an everyday person trying to upgrade your knowledge on this transformative technology, this course gives you hands-on experience and practical tools to make AI work for you. Don't wait for the future. Start mastering it today. Enroll now with Pascal Presentations LLC and take the first step towards transforming your potential with AI.
ABS can help you reach your target audience like never before. Advertising on ABS, you'll benefit from our extensive reach and dedicated viewership. We offer special advertising packages during primetime slots and popular shows. You'll also be featured on our social media platforms, reaching an even wider audience. Don't miss out on this opportunity. Take your business to the next level. Contact our advertising team at absafricativ@gmail.com.
Hey, on the hot, very hot. Every military man on, every military man on, every military man on. Yes, yes. Every military man on, yes. Yes, yes, yes. Yes. If you cut a magon. Yes. If you finish the magon. Up that side.
Oh là, moto de on janja moto la taxi de janja ma. Qui pense au?
Go sit there, body.
Rana Likumba. Atanka don't catch fire so corner of bridge. The structures indeed down now what to enter from Dongo. Now what na petrol the worker so on top water. A terrible scene.
This is the morning time of Likumba. Today, this is the morning time Likumba. We never know the situation at main road.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you are looking there at images emerging from Likumba. Likumba is in Tiko, a small town linking Douala in La République du Cameroon and Ambazonia. That accident happened today. I will be bringing you that story shortly, but before I do that, I'd like to take you to Bamenda. Yesterday, authorities in the city of Bamenda advertised, they actually put out a press statement announcing the opening of the famous Bamenda gas plant. Today, December the 12th, residents were asked to come with their gas tanks to purchase gas. And but something else happened when the residents went there. The residents went there, unfortunately. Of course, the gas was there, but no one could buy the gas. The gas was there, but no one could afford it. I'm going to explain to you what happened there in Bamenda. We are told, ladies and gentlemen, that once the residents got there with their gas tanks to buy the gas, they were told they have to wait outside. The city council had mortgaged the sales of the gas to a particular company, a middle person. The middle person will buy the gas from the gas plant, take it out of the gas, out of the gate, sit there at the gate and sell it to whoever showed up to buy. But that isn't what took place. It seems that once the middleman, the mortgage company, bought the gas from the plant, they choose who to sell to. And don't forget, when the press statement sent out yesterday by the Bamenda City Council stated that the gas was going to cost 5,000 francs CFA. It was going to cost 5,000 francs CFA. Apparently, that wasn't the case. That was misinformation. A bottle of gas, at least for those who bought it, actually cost 6,500 francs. From the day that the launching of the gas plant was done in May 9, 2025, a gas bottle was advertised to cost 6,000 francs, and people celebrated, people jubilated. But the jubilation was even more yesterday after the city council put out a press statement indicating that the bottle of gas would go just for 5,000 CFA francs. But guess what? Getting there, a bottle of gas was 6,500 francs. 6,500 francs, ladies and gentlemen. Now, the authorities in Bamenda further explained that the delay in opening the plant or having the plant go operational was due to the rough road leading to the plant. Can you imagine that? That a plan that was launched to supply gas in the city and beyond was launched to go operational since 8 months ago, precisely May 9 this year, was left or abandoned. Nothing happened there. Not a bottle of gas was sold out of there. And the only reason they want us to believe is that there was no road. The road leading to the plant was so bad that even people who are used to trekking, you know, ladies and gentlemen, back in Africa, how people trek miles, hundreds of miles at times to get to different destinations. And here in Bamenda, the authorities want you and I to believe the gas plant did not go operational after being launched in May because there was no access road. The road was impassable to the gas plant. But here is my question. How do you build a plant before thinking of building a road to the plant? I thought you build the roads and then build a plant. Isn't it? That is what common sense tells anybody. So for 8 months, not a single bottle of gas went out of that plant because the road was inaccessible. So the city council is now telling the people that, oh, one other company, they call it, what do they call it? They call it the Burns Construction. Burns Construction has now taken the contract to refurbish the road to the gas plant. Well, let's hope that that works and there are actually roads to the place for people to be able to afford gas. Now, as I mentioned, the official price is now set at 6,500 francs a bottle of gas. A bottle of gas. And customers are supposed to report anyone selling gas above the official price of 6,500 francs. Ladies and gentlemen, for as long as residents, customers cannot buy it directly from the plant, and for as long as the plant continue to subcontract the sales to a middleman, I can assure you, if you live in Bamenda, in the next 1 month, you will say to me, I told you the truth. I can assure you between now and 3 months, a bottle of gas from that plant will be selling for at least 8,000 CFA francs. And it will only increase because that is not a country that you can trust administrators to be principled. They are not. Because when they are selling it to the third party, and the third party is the one who sells to the power place, the third party will then manufacture its own prices. That's what they will do. So do not think that gas is coming to Bamenda. I give you exactly 6 months before making that conclusion that gas is finally in Bamenda and that it is affordable. If they're selling it at 8,000, what makes the difference from what it used to be? All right. So that is the situation. Many people could not buy gas today, as announced in Bamenda, because the gas is sold on the by a third party who then sells to those who want to buy. So that was Bamenda today, and the gas plant launching, or gas sales launching today, ladies and gentlemen, in the Bamenda. When I come back, I will delve into the story in the Tiko today, Likomba Tiko today. So please stay tuned as I come back and bring you this story in a moment. I'll be right back.
Are you ready to unlock the power of AI? Mastering AI Tools, a practical guide to ChatGPT and OpenAI, is your ultimate gateway course to harnessing AI in your career or studies. Provided by Pascal Presentations LLC, a trusted name in cutting-edge education, this course empowers you with the skills needed to navigate and utilize AI effectively. Whether you're a professional looking to boost productivity, a student wanting to stay ahead, or an everyday person trying to upgrade your knowledge on this transformative technology, this course gives you hands-on experience and practical tools to make AI work for you. Don't wait for the future. Start mastering it today. Enroll now with Pascal Presentations LLC and take the first step towards transforming your potential with AI.
Support ABS Africa TV, empower African voices, and change the narrative. For far too long, Africa's stories have been told by others, through lenses tinted by the agendas of legacy media, often funded by Western interests. These narratives have painted a skewed picture of a continent brimming with resilience, innovation, and untold potential. But now it's time for change. It's time for Africans to tell their own stories. At Africa Broadcasting Service ABS, we are on a mission to redefine how Africa is reported. But this mission is not something we can achieve alone. We urgently need your help. Our vision is clear: to hire and train a new generation of community reporters and citizen journalists who will capture the pulse of Africa, reporting on the issues that matter most, from human rights and good governance to climate change and environmental justice. Armed with nothing more than smartphones and their untamed determination, these reporters will uncover the stories that legacy media too often ignore. We need to provide training and equipment to these storytellers so they can report on Africa as it truly is. We cannot do it without you. Your donation, whether big or small, will help us give Africa's unsung heroes the voice they deserve. Together, we can disrupt the old narratives, challenge stereotypes, and paint a truer, richer picture of Africa. This is more than just supporting journalism. It's about empowering a continent. It's about justice. It's about truth. Together, let's tell Africa's story. Please join our GoFundMe and donate now.
That's Likumba Bridge live. And thank God, and that's so. You don't know who they don't die today. There are casualties, but we cannot know at the moment. And Likumba Bridge that's so. On fire. All sign of smoke. That's Likumba Bridge live. And thank God, and that's so. You don't know who they don't die today. There are casualties, but we cannot know at the moment. And Likumba Bridge that's so. On fire. All sign of smoke.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, a devastating accident. A devastating accident turned into a deadly explosion today in Likumba, as you can see on your screen. Likumba is near Tiko. The incident leaving at least, we are told, at least 8 people dead. 8 people dead and several others injured, according to local authorities and eyewitness reports. The disaster unfolded early today when a fuel tanker truck transporting petrol was descending a steep section of the Douala-Tiko Road near Likomba Bridge. The administrative officer, Wan Vieng Mekala, told reporters on the scene that the driver lost control of the vehicle after experiencing brake failure on the downhill stretch. As the truck veered off course, it collided with a bus and other vehicles, triggering a massive explosion that immediately engulfed vehicles, nearby structures or houses, and the surrounding roadside into flames. The flames you can see on your screen. Rescue teams, including units of the National Army and firefighters, we are told, rushed to the scene, but were initially hampered by the intensity of the blaze and the scattered wreckage. Officials confirmed that at least 8 bodies were recovered from the charred remains of the tanker and the other vehicles involved. Several injured victims were transported to the Tiko and Victoria hospitals for immediate care, with authorities warning that the death toll could rise as some victims remain in very critical conditions. Eyewitnesses described the scene as chaotic and horrific, as you can see on your screen, with carcasses of vehicles completely burnt and the road covered in debris. Entire sections of the roadway and nearby homes suffered significant damage, leaving parts of the Likomba Bridge area in ruins. According to early reports, tens of houses and vehicles were destroyed or severely damaged in the ensuing inferno, which also caused structural damage to the critical bridge linking Douala and Tiko, a key artery for commerce and daily commuting in the area. Preliminary assessments point to a combination of mechanical failure and hazardous road conditions as contributing factors in the accident. Cameroon lacks adequate pipeline infrastructure, meaning dangerous fuels like petrol are often transported by road over long distances. Cameroon has seen a history of deadly road accidents involving heavy trucks, and this latest disaster highlights ongoing concerns over the safety of major transportation roads and the maintenance of critical infrastructure. As emergency services continue their work and the community begins to process the scale of this tragedy, questions about road safety and infrastructure improvements in Cameroon loom large. For the residents of Likomba and the wider Tiko area, this disaster serves as a sobering reminder of the risks that persist daily on their roads. That is what happened, ladies and gentlemen, in the Likomba Tiko this morning. As of now, we are told again the death toll may increase. Many more people may die because considering the number of those who were carried to the hospitals in Tiko and Victoria, call it Limbe if you want. So we will stay focused on this story in the days ahead to be able to figure out the death toll, the total death toll coming from there. In the meantime, when I come back, I will take you into La République du Cameroon, where the Supreme Court in that country is about to retry the Naira 10, Sisiku'S, Yaounde, and others all over again. All over again. I'm going to get to that story in the next 50 seconds, ladies and gentlemen. Stay put.
ABS can help you reach your target audience like never before. Advertising on ABS, you'll benefit from our extensive reach and dedicated viewership. We offer special advertising packages during primetime slots and popular shows. You'll also be featured on our social media platforms, reaching an even wider audience. Don't miss out on this opportunity. Take your business to the next level. Contact our advertising team at absafricativ@gmail.com. ABS can help you reach your target audience like never before. Advertising on ABS, you'll benefit from our extensive reach and dedicated viewership. We offer special advertising packages during prime.
Are you ready to unlock the power of AI? Mastering AI Tools, a practical guide to ChatGPT and OpenAI, is your ultimate gateway course to harnessing AI in your career or studies. Provided by Pascal Presentations LLC, a trusted name in cutting-edge education, this course empowers you with the skills needed to navigate and utilize AI effectively. Whether you're a professional looking to boost productivity, a student wanting to stay ahead, or an everyday person trying to upgrade your knowledge on this transformative technology, this course gives you hands-on experience and practical tools to make AI work for you. Don't wait for the future. Start mastering it today. Enroll now with Pascal Presentations LLC and take the first step towards transforming your potential with AI.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. I believe that all of you out there are very, very familiar with the story of the Naira 10. I am referring to the story of Sisiku'S, Yaounde, and 9 others who were picked up in Nigeria, extradited illegally to La République du Cameroon. They face a military tribunal that sentenced them to life imprisonments. And after a series of appeals, or a number of appeals, the Yaounde High Court refused to give them reprieve over the appeals. And then the legal team of the Naira 10 took the case to the Supreme Court of Cameroon. And for 6 years, the Supreme Court said nothing. Zero. They said nothing. And finally, the Supreme Court from nowhere came up and said, okay, we are going to take up the case. And they have now decided to do another hearing, start another hearing altogether on the Thursday. That is Thursday, December the 18th, next Thursday, in fact. So, but the question is, why now? Why now? Where have you been for 6 good years? What is the plan? Cameroon calculates everything that they do politically, and there must be something behind it. But I'll bring you my talking point here. For 6 long years, the story of the Naira 10 has stood as one of the clearest markers of the Cameroonian regime's handling of the Amazonian conflict. A blend of political calculation, disregard for process, and strategic silence. And now, with an unexpected move that has startled observers, the Supreme Court of Cameroon has decided, after ignoring the case for more than half a decade, to schedule a hearing on Thursday, December 18. This abrupt shift has left many asking the same question. Why now? What exactly has changed in Yaounde's calculus that the regime suddenly finds interest in a case it once treated as political taboo? To understand why this development feels like a deliberate backpedal, one must revisit the beginning, to the very moment the Naira 10 were taken. On January 5, 2018, 10 leaders of the Amazonian movement were arrested at the Naira Hotel in Abuja, Nigeria. They were not hiding underground or operating in secrecy. They were openly meeting as political representatives. Nigerian security forces detained them under murky circumstances. Their lawyers filed urgent petition before the Abuja High Court, arguing that the arrest lacked due process and that any further legal action concerning them must occur within Nigerian territorial jurisdiction. The detainees insisted they were not Cameroonian citizens. They identified themselves as Ambazonians. And this claim alone already raised complex questions about Cameroon's authority over them still in Nigeria. But before the Abuja High Court could rule conclusively on the matter, something extraordinary and entirely unlawful took place. The detainees were whisked overnight out of Nigeria in a covert operation and handed to Cameroonian authorities in what international observers have since described as a state-sponsored kidnapping. A state-sponsored kidnapping. No extradition hearing was held. No treaty was applied. No legal jurisdiction was presented. Days later, they resurfaced in Cameroon, chained like animals, and detained incommunicado. The Nigerian High Court would later declare their extradition illegal and order their return to Nigeria, an order Cameroon ignored completely till today. Instead, the regime in Yaounde moved quickly to stage a trial. A military tribunal in Yaounde, one already notorious for its alignment with the regime, assumed jurisdiction over civilians, a move that violated not just Cameroonian own law, but basic international principles of due process. The Naira 10's lawyers protested vigorously, insisting the military court had no legal mandate to try civilians and that the accused were not Cameroonian citizens. They also pointed to the illegal extradition and the ruling of the Abuja High Court as grounds to nullify the entire process. Still, the military tribunal in Yaounde went forward, determined to deliver a predetermined political outcome. And so on August 20th, 2019, the military court sentenced the Naira 10, as you find on your screen, to life imprisonment. The charges included terrorism, secession, rebellion, and conspiracy to destabilize La République du Cameroon. Yet even before examining the content of these accusations, the legitimacy of the entire legal process was fatally compromised. The court lacked jurisdiction. The detainees had been seized in violation of international law in Nigeria. Their identities as Ambazonian representatives had not been meaningfully considered. And the speed, ladies and gentlemen, the speed with which the judgment was delivered made it clear that this was not a search for truth. It was a performance meant to reinforce the regime's narrative of control. Immediately after sentencing, the legal team of the detainees filed an appeal to the Yaounde Court of Appeals. But in September 2020, the appeals court confirmed the life sentences without addressing the core questions about jurisdiction and the illegal extradition. Once again, the legal system followed political instructions rather than legal logic. with their peace corps exhausted, ended, the matter was taken to Cameroon's Supreme Court. And then, nothing, zero happened. For years, the court neither accepted the appeal nor rejected it. It provided no updates, no communication, not even a preliminary scheduling. Silence became the regime's strategy. Many observers noted that the Supreme Court's inaction seemed intentional, an effort to avoid revisiting a case that could expose profound constitutional violations, at least if the court was fair. The families of the detainees, the silence was torturous. For the detainees themselves, it proved that Cameroon's institutions had no intention of providing justice. This is why the sudden scheduling of a hearing after 6 long years is so jarring. It is an action that contradicts the entire pattern of the regime's behavior. And because the regime's actions are never random, people are now asking with heightened curiosity, what political need does this moment serve? During the recent presidential campaign, you will recall, Issa Chiroma, the opposition leader believed by many to have legitimately won the election, made a powerful promise to Ambazonians. He declared that in his first week in office, he would release the Naira 10 unconditionally. This was not a subtle proposal. It was a direct recognition that their detention symbolized the dishonesty with which the regime had approached the conflict. Chiroma's promise resonated across the southern Cameroon's Ambazonia and beyond, generating both hope and political pressure. Now, ladies and gentlemen, mere weeks after that promise shook the national conversation, the Supreme Court suddenly finds its voice. A case ignored for 6 years is now urgent, very urgent. This timing is unlikely to be coincidental. Many observers suspect that the regime sensing political vulnerability and seeking to reclaim control of the narrative now wants to initiate Chiroma's promise, but in a manner that does not require admitting any wrongdoing at all. Rather than simply freeing the Naira 10, which it could do at any moment, the regime appears to be preparing a more calculated strategy, it seems, using the Supreme Court to create the illusion of a legal process that gradually corrects itself, it seems. This would allow the government of La République du Cameroun to say, see, the judicial system works, even though the same system was weaponized to produce the injustice in the first place. The speculation circulating among political analysts points to several possible outcomes here in the new trial. The Supreme Court might overturn the life sentences, framing the move as a victory for justice rather than a political retreat. The court might reduce the sentences dramatically, providing a pathway for later negotiations. It might order a retrial, essentially resetting the process and buying the regime more time. Or it might craft a carefully worded ruling that opens the door for conditional release. All of these outcomes would allow Cameroon to claim that the matter has been handled legally, not politically. That could be part of the calculation. But at the core issue remains unchanged. The core issue remains unchanged. If Cameroon were truly serious about resolving the Amazonian conflict, if it genuinely sought a political opening, if it sincerely wanted to build trust, the simplest course of action would be to free the Naira 10 unconditionally. No negotiations, no face-saving compromises, no attempts to repackage injustice as a legal triumph. That the regime refuses to take this straightforward path speaks volumes. The Naira 10, ladies and gentlemen, have been held all these years because they serve a purpose. They are bargaining chips. They are human leverage for political negotiations. Their detention continues, not because the regime fears them, but because it needs them as tools in their hands. Releasing them without extracting political advantage, they think, would strip the government of one of its most valuable pieces in the conflict strategic chessboard. This sudden Supreme Court hearing, starting on Thursday then, feels less like an act of justice, but more like a repositioning, a recalibration, an attempt to appear flexible while clinging to control. It is, in other words, backpedaling, disguised as due process. Amazonians should approach this development with caution. There is every reason to be skeptical. When a regime ignores a case for 6 years and then suddenly finds interest just when political winds shift, the motive is rarely justice. It is optics. It is narrative management. It is an attempt to show the world, especially international partners who would not give them loans, maybe increasingly concerned about the conflict, that Cameroon is finally taking steps, however symbolic, towards resolution of the conflict. But symbolism does not end wars. Cosmetic gestures do not heal broken communities. And selective legal performance does not erase the suffering of those who have spent 6 years behind bars for political reasons. The real question, ladies and gentlemen, that must be asked is, and asked loudly too, is this: where was the Supreme Court when the appeal was filed? Where was it in 2020? 2021, 2023, we are in 2025. Why was it silent while lawyers begged for a hearing? Why international bodies raised concerns? Why families waited for news that never came? In Cameroon, courts do not suddenly wake up without instruction. This is a political decision, not a judicial one. As the hearing approaches on December 18, that is Thursday, the world will watch. But watching is not enough. Understanding is essential. This moment is not evidence of a justice system correcting its course. It is evidence of a regime adjusting its strategy. The truth remains simple. The Naira 10 should not be in prison at all. Their continued detention is a stain on the rule of law. Their arrest violated Nigerian legal rulings. Their trial violated Cameroon's own constitutional norms. Their appeal was delayed in violation of every principle of justice. And their lives have been used as political currency for a conflict that still rages with devastating consequences. If Cameroon wants to demonstrate genuine commitment to ending the Amazonian conflict, there is only one step. Only one step. It must take free the Naira 10 and all other political prisoners unconditionally as promised by Issa Chiroma. Not partially, not ceremonially, not strategically, just freely, justly, and fully too. Until that happens, Amazonians have every reason to doubt the sincerity of this sudden judicial awakening. Because justice built on staging, on pretense, and on cosmetic legal maneuvers is not justice at all. And until the regime in La République du Cameroun chooses truth over tactics, justice over image, and humanity over strategy, the conflict will continue as it has for years, fueled not by the demands of Amazonians, but by the choices of those who govern in La République du Cameroun. The war rages on, not because peace is impossible, but because sincerity is absent. And until that sincerity appears on the surface, until the Naira 10 walk free and all the prisoners, Cameroon's moves, no matter how elaborate, must be seen for what they are. That is, calculated backpedaling, not genuine progress. And that is my talking point, ladies and gentlemen. I am being joined right now from Washington, D.C. Washington, D.C. by the Right Honorable Dr. Sisiku'S Ebini. It's a pleasure to have you back here, sir.
Thank you, Comrade Chris. How are you?
I am doing excellent. I believe you listened carefully to my monologue there. Correct me anywhere if I am wrong there before we move forward.
I did listen to you very carefully. You know, I come to this program now with what we are waiting towards the 18th to listen more and to what you as a journalist has every right to make analysis and to project certain sentiments. But we all know that dubious regimes like that of La République du Cameroun also learn some tricks from what we say to online. So I want to be very cautious until after the 18th, not to put ideas into their heads. The only idea that I want to put into their heads is the one that you said, that these people did not have any business keeping these guys for this long, 7 years going, and they should be released. And I hope that the Supreme Court, the part I want to take from it, from certain pressures and the moment, what is happening in the moment, that they have seen that certain violations were made and they want to correct it, and they are trying to bring these guys in to erase the abuses of the military court, where they were not in the first place supposed to be tried by a military tribunal. So my hope is that the Supreme Court is going to grant them their rights, that they have been abused, that they were illegally detained, and give them their freedom without any conditions whatsoever.
So, one of the concerns here which I raised in my monologue is for 6 years, these guys were sentenced by a military tribunal. The appeals court refused them appeal, and they took their lawyers took it up to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court never for one said, we are accepting the appeal or we are rejecting the appeal. But then all of a sudden, all of a sudden, the Supreme Court comes up with Thursday, December 18, and we are going to hear your case one more time. In your mind, Sisiko, what do you think may be behind it? You know, Cameroon calculates everything in political terms here. What do you think Cameroon is thinking about by trying to retry these people now at the Supreme Court?
One thing, let us understand the setup of Cameroon. There is no way any case would get, like a case like this would be getting to the Supreme Court now if something is not coming from above. There is a sentiment from the ruling organ that probably told the Supreme Court to take this case. When I saw the announcement of this case, I saw it first being announced by Mimi Mofo, and some people of the Sako group were sending it to me as if it's provocation and sending with other images and other things. But when I saw it, I cross-checked with the people themselves, and it was confirmed that it's being called. I would have been much worried if I would have really dismissed it completely if they were subjecting us to probably raise money and pay for it like they did the other appeal case that I know was strictly just trying to bait us to get money. But this seemed to have come from nowhere, and I want to believe that it's just the heat of the moment. Let that play to our favor. That is the heat of the moment that is pushing certain dynamics and certain calculus from the political establishment to see that they cannot continue multiplying their crimes and abuses. So if they can take care of this one, it can probably clean up a little bit of their image. I don't know if that would, but these guys don't have any business being in that prison in the first place. Let them be released. And I hope that this is a sign that their being there has been troubling them, and they are looking for ways to get them out. And that's what I'm calculating.
What are they saying to you? I mean, the detainees. I know you maintain very direct communication with some of them. What are you hearing from them? What is going on in their mind?
Well, then these guys have been very resolved. If you are able, those of you who try to visit them, you see them. When you go there, you feel their spirit. You feel their spirit. For them to have been, I mean, I was just talking of, and he said going there for a very short while, and he has been killed, and we are able to get the blessings of our ancestors and the Almighty that has kept our Naira 10 this well. I mean, we've not had a significant problem because of their spirit. They are together. They do things together. So when I heard this, when they confirmed this to me, I didn't see any need to pressure them with some detailed questions and all the like. I think it's not this far. I think they should just be calm, be collected, and prepare to go face whatever it is. I am hopeful. So I didn't have, you as a journalist probably would be looking for more information. There are times that you ask certain questions, and there are times that you just let people be and let them relax and go face whatever it is that it's coming up.
One of my thoughts when I learned about this Supreme Court hearing was: is it possible? Is it possible that Cameroon is trying to buy from the books of Issa Chiroma when he says, "Give me power, give me leadership, and I will release all political prisoners"? Do you think that they are buying from the political book of the campaign book of Issa Chiroma here?
Well, and Comrade Chris, you should know that I'm sure even Issa Chiroma must be very surprised himself on the very high momentum that is gathered for a very short while leading to these presidential elections. You and I and many of us in the southern Cameroon's Ambazonia struggle would not have been able to tell ourselves that we would even want to go close or touch this man 10 foot away from us. But we were hoping that he would win, and we put pressure on all of the candidates, not only him, even those who were Anglophone candidates, that, hey, we know you don't have the powers to release these prisoners because you are not yet in government. But what you say on the platform of your campaign is very important. You can also just use, even if you don't win, your campaign period of putting this on the table and in the minds of the people and the world and the BS government could also be a gain for your campaign. So we push this on Chiruma. It's not to absorb him of his own contribution, because all what these guys are going through, all what our people have suffered, Chiruma
He was part of it.
it's a big participant. But like I said, when we used to do Dennis Richard, our history book, they talk of a drowning man clutching at a serpent. So when you're drowning, you can look for anything that comes your way to try to rescue yourself, to try to save yourself. So if the Chiruma was the agent that was going to come and clean some mess out of this, that's fine. But we cannot also put this out that the threat of him still hanging out there. We are not seeing much of any activities on the ground, but we know that he's still a lingering threat to the regime. And seeing the popularity that he gained just by mentioning and going to Bamenda and mentioning the prisoners and mentioning you, Chris Anu, as his best friend, and those type of things, and saying he regrets what he did, he apologizes, and all the like, gained him a lot of support. And the regime might want to outsmart him or outperform him by allowing the Supreme Court to do something to get this off their backs. I mean, that's what I hope. All the other speculations, I'm not going to give it out for them to go and learn more about it and probably change whatever they were trying to do. So I'm just hoping that in this case, nobody has asked me to contribute a penny for the case to go to the Supreme Court like it would have been the case. So they are just going there from nowhere. It is being called. We don't know whether the lawyers were doing any other work behind the scenes that led to this. I didn't hear. I've not heard anything. Maybe some other people here. I'm in touch with some of the lawyers who've been talking. We share information, but I didn't see this coming. I read it first from somebody. Let me say somebody who sent me this information first. You'll be very surprised.
Okay.
There's a guy they call, a very stubborn guy who called Glenn Chia.
Glenn Chia.
And,
I think I heard that name.
Glenn Chia. That guy has given us a lot of trouble. He is the one who sent me this information first and said, there you guys are going to throw your money in the bush again. That's what I mean. For him, it was to provoke me that we keep losing money on trying to appeal these cases. But I just ignore it and then cross-check whether the information was accurate, and it was confirmed. And here we are. We keep our fingers crossed, waiting for the 18th. And I hope that you said and what I'm saying here, what I'm hoping. I don't want to talk very much about other things. I just want to focus on the fact that these people had no business keeping this, like the other, not only this Naira 10. Whether you like it or not, the Naira 10 is a symbol of our revolution. And we have other prisoners too that we get cries from Boya prison, from Bamenda prisons, from other parts of Kondengi and all the like. We are crying for all of our people. We want all of them to be liberated. Let us hope that this Supreme Court hearing or retrial or whatever they want to call it, it's the beginning of the end of this process. And Cameroon is very stupid. If they did not arrest this guy, these are the moderates. These our leaders are the moderates. Most of the problems that they are facing and we are facing too would have not occurred if we had these guys out here, because the way we manage things would have been more centralized, would have been more focused, would have been more disciplined, and would have had a better structure that La Republique would have seen. I mean, La Republique does not like, La Republique enjoys violence. Let me tell you that very sincerely. If you follow the case of, is it, and where is that again? The place where the people were sitting outside that they have gone for about 9 months without electricity.
Yeah, that was in Tico.
Mutengen and Tico.
Mutengen. It was, no, I think it was in Tico, part of Tico. Tico was in Tico.
Yeah, yeah.
Was it Mutengen or
these
Tico?
people have been without, they have been without electricity for at here 8 months to 9 months.
Yeah.
And then they decided to take over the roads. They just sat roads and all the like, and without much of a time wasted, they brought the new transformers, or they were the functional transformers.
They actually brought it the next day, right? The next day,
Yeah,
right?
I keep telling people who don't want to listen that this system, this BS system, enjoys people who bring violence to them. They enjoy violence. They enjoy sucking the blood. They enjoy killing people. But they cannot stand a well-structured, focus and determined non-violent resistance. That is why they picked up, when Chiroma was coming up, they made sure they pick up these two guys, Anise Ikane and Jacob Chemini. Those are the two Francophone guys who have a history of mobilizing the grassroots.
Yeah, unfortunately, they are no longer here. But let's take this case into Nigeria. The Supreme Court case is coming up in Yaounde at a time there is pressure in the Nigerian system again to have the Nigerian government bring back Sisiko and the 9 others into Nigeria. And you will remember in the first Supreme Court ruling that gave them victory over their extradition, the Nigerian government was supposed to pay them, I think, 500,000 naira. For you and I, that's not a lot of money, but
yeah,
could be a lot of money over there. Now, that case is still pending. The lawyers are still fighting. I think that case is actually also coming up sometime within this December in Nigeria. Is there any chance that the Supreme Court is holding this maybe to say to Nigeria, listen, we are still in the process of determining this case. Give us a little more time. Let our process be over, and we then talk about your own process. Do you look at it from that angle?
It's possible. It's possible because Nigeria, the lawyers in Nigeria and the lead lawyer in Cameroon have been doing some work in Nigeria to try to keep this case alive. Just imagine if things were not being done, these guys would have been forgotten in prison. So that case, that's why it's good that we have, even with our own challenges and difficulties, we have had some kind of being active and doing a few things here and there, including focusing on their welfare in prison. I mean, in a place where just drinking water could kill you, or eating whatever they give you as food could really just send you somewhere else. So the Nigerian case might be one of the pressure. We don't know what is going on behind the scenes because we only see what comes to us. It could be that some conversation or some discussions might be going along with the Cameroonian system, following even just the interest of the Nigerian political system to take this case and listen to it.
What is your opinion of a situation where the Supreme Court ends up saying, okay, we retract the life sentences given you, or we cancel the decision of the military tribunal passing life sentences on them, and Cameroon now meeting with them to say, let's talk about Ambazonia. Let's reach a consensus. Let's negotiate. Should they be negotiating anything under the condition they find themselves, as far as it doesn't have to do with their freedom. I won't have an issue if they are negotiating their own freedom, right? But negotiating Ambazonia with La République du Cameroon under chains, would you support that scenario?
I don't think it is helpful for us to always come across as obstructionists to negotiation or dialogue. What I would say is that if that be a case that such a thing comes up, they should accept and give their own condition that, look, we cannot talk these things here. You know how the things we've been in here in prison and we've not had contact with what. Let us go out and meet with our people and organize with our people, and then we can talk better. So just the very mention of negotiation should not be that negative. There are different levels of negotiation, and there are very different ways of negotiating. So if they come and say, hey, let's stop this Amazonian thing, say, okay, no problem. Yeah, we can talk. But give us some time, give us freedom. Let us go out there, gather our people, and then with something that we know would be effective and lasting. That's what I'll tell them.
I get your point, but this is the difference I am making.
Okay.
Telling you let's negotiate the conditions under which we release you is all their business. But sitting them down and saying, let's talk about how we end this Amazonian conflict. For example, let's agree on a 2-state federation. Let's agree on a 10-state federation. Let's agree on a confederation. Let's agree on a referendum. I think they are in the position to take the decision. You are narrating here to say, hey, let's go and we have no problem to negotiate, but we need to go out and take some time, reason with our people before we can sit down and talk. I think it's the right thing to do.
That's right. And also, Chris, you should know that up to today, you and I, we don't know the terms on which people like Agbobala and Fontaniba left prison after 8 months, right?
Mm-hmm.
We don't know what they agreed to anything.
Right.
So you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we don't know. Sometimes we can say we know the minds of La République very much and everything that they do, but there are times too that we mislead ourselves with that kind of opinion. They too are humans. Sometimes there might be things that are making them to have a heart attack, even though they pretend somehow in prison. So these guys just need to get out of jail. Like I said, they need to get out of jail, and it is time for us to, as Ambazonians, as Saudi Cameroonians, because we've made a lot of wrong noise and wrong analysis. Many of our people are not on the path of the Ambazonian project. And what we have so many times is, instead of trying to get all of us together as Southern Cameroonians to understand and choose our path forward, we on the Ambazonian project have acted in a way that we divide ourselves further and weaken ourselves further. So we must be honest to ourselves to know that all Southern Cameroonians are not on the Ambazonian project. There are others who have different views. And if we are the Democrats and people of freedom that we say we are or we project to be, we would have to take time and look for a place where all the voices of our people are, where we can come to a consensus of what is the path ahead of us. Not having people that we are going to, a few of us cannot be using guns to impose on our people. We cannot continue doing that. We cannot even sustain that.
No. I think you are far off the point there. I don't know what you mean by using guns to impose on people. If you were to carry out an opinion poll on the ground, the overwhelming majority of Ambazonians will tell you, we support a military defense of our people and our territory. That there are few rooks will now become opportunists to make this thing look like the people against the people. Doesn't support the theory you are making that using guns to impose. The people who carry guns. Let me give you a very good example. Field Marshal live within the BLM people. You never heard that anybody was kidnapped, ransom taken, or you never hear that he was passing some taxation on the people. I mean, you never heard anything. You hear people like no pity. You never hear that they abducted people, took ransoms, and were unnecessarily inflicting pain upon the people. This thing of pain emerged when the ADF show up and then Atanganji's guys, they came into the mix. So to mix it and say imposing, using arm to impose, come on, I'm disappointed, Sisiko, that
you're saying the same thing that I'm saying, but you've pointed a finger at ADF. They are not part of us?
They are part of us.
Are they not part of us?
Us.
Then we have a problem, right? Whether it be ADF or it be who, we have a problem, don't we?
We acknowledge that.
Ourselves.
We acknowledge that. That's why I'm pointing them out and pointing out the Atanganji guys. We acknowledge that. We are saying that should not be, and we cannot therefore, upon their attack on the civilian population, say, oh, let's not punish our people because we carry guns. Let's weed out. Let's weed out the opportunists and leave boys like no pity who do their best to defend the territory without inflicting pain on the population to do the job.
Yeah, we have to be honest sometimes with ourselves. There are things that we have found out about ourselves that no one knew existed when this war was forced on us. There's some level of recklessness and dishonesty that comes from us that is not really instruments or ingredients for freedom. So we have to be honest. It's very painful for people to sit down and reflect and accept certain things about themselves. I know that.
What are you saying?
Also, another truth is that we are divided within our rings because we come from southern Cameroons. And among southern Cameroon, mention Atanganji. He's a southern Cameroonian. When you mention Chuayaba and ADF, those are southern Cameroonians. So what I'm saying is that we would have a moment where we would be able to sit down without anybody being afraid. Even as I'm talking to you now, you have gone to the line of saying that you're disappointed. That's already, if it was SDF, they'll put a red cross on my head. Mark me for death. That is our problem.
No, you're taking it an extra mile. But listen, I agree with you. There is no doubt we Southern Cameroonians are divided. But you will also agree with me, the overwhelming majority of Southern Cameroonians, Ambazonians, support independence. You can't have everybody agree. You can't have everybody. I'm sorry?
I know. I support independence. But at the time when they support independence, they had not experienced some of the things that are coming from our Ambazonian project. So we need to clean up for our own people's sake. 10 years, we have had a war.
In your opinion, what type of cleanup are you talking about?
Clean up for us to come together as a people and face our own demons and make a path forward that would not make us you against me. We should face a common enemy, which is what we've been doing.
But you have to realize that for as long as not everybody is supporting independence, those divisions will always be there. I think what you should be saying is all independentists should see the need to come together and iron out, strengthen the organization, the movement, and the leadership. Because you don't expect Agobala to come here and tell, who is a federalist, to come here and say, let's work together, or me agreeing to work together. In fact, You don't have all the federalists on the ground. Dr. Monzu, for example, you don't expect me to call a meeting with him, a conference with him, with all Ambazonians, and sit him down and sit maybe Professor Yaounde down, and you expect them to agree, right?
Why not? Why not? Is it, if we are keeping them aside, is that not what we are complaining, that Cameroon does not want to listen to difference of opinion? Why are we not going to build a democratic society where people have different choices and different voices?
I think we will contain everybody once we have reached our goal, where be it federation that the federalists preach, be it independence that the independentists preach. At that time, we have no choice but to mend fences. But if you are a federalist, I have no problem with you. Fight for federation. If you are independentist, let's come together, agree, focus on securing independence. You want these two to come together on the same table like I see Milan Atam doing in South Africa? It will not work. You know that.
Chris, if you and I were together and very organized, let's just forget. Let's take just us who are on the Amazonian project. If you and I were honest and we sit down and we are doing things the right way, but the division that I talk about is more within the small, those of us who are in the independent, the Amazonian project. I am not even including the federalists. And I don't buy that. Not say when somebody is a federalist, we brand them blacklegs or enablers. That is wrong. Let us work on ourselves. Let us sell our choice of independence, and let us do it in a way that people will join, not by us really pushing people further away. Because even within the Amazonian project, amongst us, if a Bini is talking now, I'm talking my own truth here, they'll say, oh, he's a federalist. Why waste time with him? He's a federalist. We cannot get anywhere. That's what I'm saying.
Well, you know, throughout this process, I am one person who will listen and talk to any person. I don't care if you are one Cameroonese.
Give that to you.
If you are a federalist or independentist, I will listen to you. I will listen to you. But to think that I can then sit down with you to have a common plan on how to achieve our goal, you know that is impossible.
No, what to achieve? No, you sit with them to be able to determine. You are bringing your own idea, your own opinion, your own choices on the table, and they, like your brother, like your fellow citizens of Southern Cameroons, are bringing theirs, and then you people will decide if there's a middle way where both of you can work. This has nothing to do with La Republique. It has to do with us, the same children of that Southern Cameroons that we are fighting for.
This is my approach, and which I have suggested to the federalists that I talk to. I have said we have no issues with you. We won't call you names. We won't stone you. If you were to have your conference, put together your grievances, take them to La République du Cameroon. Let me give you something that happened. Many people were not aware. We had a meeting in Boston. I think it was November last year. A meeting made up of independentists and federalists. Ben Oki, who is a staunch, die-hard federalist, was there. Prof. Yaounde, a staunch, die-hard independentist, was there.
Tell Ben to give me a break. Tell Ben to give me a break. That guy makes me read too much every day.
What? I'm telling you how the open doors we have. I was there. Prof. Yaounde was there, all the way from South Africa. Ben Oki and the Fombang, somebody in Boston, all federalists, they were all there. But what I'm trying to say is, in fact, we came out with a single statement that somebody, our sponsors, had to send somebody from the US to Cameroon to present that document to Cameroon. But the point I'm making this is to say, We don't have a problem sitting down talking with federalists. We know where our common ground is, but it is how you get there. I've always said if I were a federalist, I will do everything to use the pressure that the independentists are putting on Cameroon to say to Cameroon, which one do you want to have? Me, a federalist, or a secessionist, right? But they don't do it.
Chris, let me ask you this. When we get independence, right?
Yes.
If we get independence, when we do get that independence as Ambazonian, and the people agree that our nation is going to be called Ambazonia, would you ban any sentiments of people who rally themselves politically that they want to go back to Cameroon?
Of course not. You always have that
That's
minority
my
in
point.
every community.
That's right. You got my point. That's what I'm saying, that we should understand that we would have wished that at this time, all of our citizens, and when I talk about our citizens, I'm talking Southern Cameroonians. Okay? Some of us, our choice of solving our problem, we have graduated to the Ambazonian project. I started calling it project because of the realization that I still have brothers and sisters who are still thinking differently, and they deserve to be listened to. They deserve to be validated somehow, and they deserve to
But
be
again, I'm surprised that you even go
worked on.
down. I'm surprised you go down that route, because you know that in every society where there is conflict, people are bound to agree and disagree. In the U.S. War of Independence, 35% Americans prefer to stay with the British. You know that. 35%. You
But
go
why
to
would you
South
say I shouldn't go that
Africa,
route?
a
Why
chunk
would
of
you
the
say I shouldn't go
population,
that route?
led by Chief Buthelezi, though he pretended he was fighting for freedom, preferred apartheid. So you will always
Exactly.
have the fringe community that says, no, we want to maintain, we want the status quo maintained. But we hear them. We keep on the fight. At the end
That's
of
right.
the day, we still make sure their rights in the community, even though they dissent, are maintained, are respected. We are talking about the end of the day, not now when we are still fighting to catch the animal.
Let me ask you something. Were the ANC people not having talks with Buthelezi?
Of course.
Of course, that's what I'm telling you. But you are trying to make us if we cannot with the federal.
But they were making talks with Buthelezi, but did he change Buthelezi? Of course not. I listened to a TV show conducted by Ted, the guy of ABC. He's retired now.
Yeah, Ted Turner.
Not Ted Turner. Oh, the name is going off my mind. But he had this town hall meeting in which he hosted Mandela. And right here in the U.S., guess who was one of those asking Mandela a question all the way from South Africa, while Mandela is on a television station in the U.S.? You know the answer Mandela gave him? Mandela said, listen, I cannot carry our dirty lenience to a foreign country responding to you. You wait. When I return to South Africa, you and I will have the time to talk. But the point is, even up to his release, when majority rule was just by the corner, Chief Buthelezi was still asking questions as to how the majority are going to govern and why shouldn't be the white majority, maintaining power essentially.
Yeah, the guy I just...
the name is Ted Koppel. Ted Koppel, that's the name.
Ted Koppel, that's who we are talking about. But you see, Chris, it's just like you and I are engaged now, we are talking, it's improving. The talk we are talking is improving. We are embracing, we are going towards the same thinking. But when it started and you just heard certain words from me, you jumped normally and said, I'm surprised you can go that route. You can say those things. Those are the things that we have to work on. Building a nation is not that easy. You understand? So this conversation, if we were just dismissive and left and did not talk with each other, we become enemies. We start labeling each other. But you would see that what I'm saying is a relevant conversation we of the Amazonian project should be having. There are people who have blocked me just because I said, let's have this conversation. There's nothing wrong with it. Now that our leaders, maybe our leaders who are going to the Supreme Court, if we are lucky that they are coming out, we should have a bigger conversation. We should talk and look at ourselves. This going a whole decade that we have been forced into violence, our people have suffered more than anything else. We should be thinking about them, how we can organize ourselves in a way that we reduce the burden on our people at all levels, whether school or whatever, or jobs and all that kind of stuff. We need to talk honestly to ourselves, and we need to not have pre-made things that we want people to say, or people to speak the language that we want to hear. Like, for instance, I was listening to your show of the Kansas
Kansas
thing,
trials.
the trials, yes. Some of these things, they are revolutions that know how to move strategically even when they go and they're operating from a foreign land. Most of the time, those revolutions are so organized that they get diplomatic leverage from those countries where they operate from, and they could do certain things. 10 years, we have not had one country that has stood by us for us to be operating freely from them, even getting some things from them that we can use and all that kind of stuff. We as US citizens, when we are in this country, from the very beginning when we started this revolution, I want us that being out here in this country, we should be very careful of certain pronouncements that we make in public. There are people for all causes who raise money from this country, but they don't act recklessly in public in the things that they do or say. But when we become so reckless that we think that that's what makes us to look tough, and we start saying things that are violating laws of the land that we live in, we should know. I was in court to try to plead with the people who were being sentenced with the St. Michael's case of the with gang and all that case. And the judge told me that, look, as sympathetic as I'm to you and what you're saying and what you're asking, this is a court of law. We apply the law with the policies. So we should be, as much as we support our brothers and sisters who are getting into trouble, we should also educate ourselves to know that when we are in a country like this, we should know how we do things, how we operate, in order that we don't violate laws. And when we make the false equivalence of trying to say, oh, Mandela did this, oh, Martin Luther King did this, Mahatma Gandhi did this, and not the US is. Yes, the US can do what they are doing in Ukraine. They are doing so lawfully by their own laws. But when you do things as an individual that is against their law, you are not going to the policy people, because the policy people are not on our side. You are going to the courts, and the courts will look at the laws that do not really help us. So all we have to do is we have to be very careful and stop the recklessness, the things that people were just saying to look tough, to look like they are doing so great and all that kind of stuff. We did that, and that is not a very good thing. I am not very happy that they target you. But it's normal that some of those things are happening because our own people too are setting us up. So we should know those things and stop the false, and stop feeling like the false. When I listen to the lawyer, somebody you put on your show, talking about, oh, the truth shall come out, these people cannot sleep, they will not be able to sleep because they sentence these people and all. That's nonsense. It doesn't educate us. Let's us be responsible. We can do all the things that we are doing without violating laws of the countries that we live in. When we know that these countries still have diplomatic relationship with the country, not even one of these we live in that we raise issues with have stood up to say they are severing diplomatic relationship with Cameroon because of the violence. or the abuses they make towards us. So let us educate ourselves. We can do great things, we can do all things, but let us move within the laws of the countries we live in.
That is what it should be. And if you listen to my monologue yesterday,
I did. You did speak very
as,
well. You did speak very well.
as always, I condemn violence. As always, I condemn kidnapping. As always, I condemn ransom taking. And I have seen those things because they do not give us a positive picture on the struggle. And sometimes the only problem is sometimes you think that all these things are being done by Ambazonians or Ambazonian leaders or Ambazonian fighters. Unfortunately, it is not always the case. I had an example in Bamenda where somebody was picked up at my tree and 10 million francs demanded from him by the tax. This guy had just gone on retirement and gotten his retirement money, and I guess maybe somebody knew about it and informed those guys. They picked him up and they were demanding 10 million francs. And somehow these people got my number. The man who was abducted, the family, they got my number and called me, hoping that if these are legit fighters, I can talk to them. And they gave me, I said, hey, do you have their number? They said, the person they kidnapped, they are using his phone to communicate. And I said, okay, give me the number. They gave me his number. And I called, the phone rang, the guys picked up the call, and I said, hey, my friends, how are you? Comrade Chris here, how are you doing? No, I tried to come across very friendly. You know what they asked me? They said, you be Chris Witty. He says, you be Chris Witty. They said you be Chris Witty, but come to find out, 2 weeks later, the real fighters, and these boys, it turns out these boys were crooks. You know what they did? The real fighters picked them up and discovered that these boys, they got a piece of wood, carved it in the shape of a gun, took an umbrella pole, tie it at the head of the stick, wrap it with rubber, black rubber, to make it appear like this is a real gun. And they used that. They had no gun. They used that to pretend as if they were fighters, and they threatened to kill, and they used that to kidnap people. So the problem is, yeah.
What I was going to say, and Chris too, nobody should be going around on the ground with a gun, going around with the gun and saying that he's fighting for Southern Cameroon's ambassador.
No, that I totally disagree with you. I totally disagree with you. No, independence has been fought with diplomacy.
I have not finished what I'm saying. Let me finish what I'm saying. You did not let me finish. Nobody should be going around on the ground with a gun saying that he's an Ambazonian fighter when he is not operating from a central command.
Okay.
That is wrong.
Absolutely.
To me, any such person, to me, is a bandit. If he
Absolutely.
doesn't have a central command, he's a bandit, he's a criminal.
All right, please stay put out there. When I come back, I will open the phones and hear what people would like to say out there. Stay put, please.
Support ABS Africa TV, empower African voices, and change the narrative. For far too long, Africa's stories have been told by others, through lenses tinted by the agendas of legacy media, often funded by Western interests. These narratives have painted a skewed picture of a continent brimming with resilience, innovation, and untold potential. But now it's time for change. It's time for Africans to tell their own stories. At Africa Broadcasting Service ABS, we are on a mission to redefine how Africa is reported. But this mission is not something we can achieve alone. We urgently need your help. Our vision is clear: to hire and train a new generation of community reporters and citizen journalists who will capture the pulse of Africa, reporting on the issues that matter most, from human rights and good governance to climate change and environmental justice. Armed with nothing more than smartphones and their untamed determination, these reporters will uncover the stories that legacy media too often ignore. We need to provide training and equipment to these storytellers so they can report on Africa as it truly is. We cannot do it without you. Your donation, whether big or small, will help us give Africa's unsung heroes the voice they deserve. Together, we can disrupt the old narratives, challenge stereotypes, and paint a truer, richer picture of Africa. This is more than just supporting journalism. It's about empowering a continent. It's about justice. It's about truth. Together, let's tell Africa's story. Please join our GoFundMe and donate now.
All right, thanks for staying put, ladies and gentlemen. At this moment, we'll open the phone lines for you to call in. Let us know what is on your mind. But remember, before you call, shut down the volume of your set. If you are watching on television or whatever you are watching on, turn down the volume. When you call, focus on your phone. That's the only reason I'll be able to pick your call. So go ahead and call. Go ahead and call. All right. The first caller comes in here. Hello.
Close that door so I can see.
Hello.
Yes, hello, Comrade Chris.
Hello.
Yeah. Thanks for the show and thanks for Dr. Ebini. The Ted Koppel show that you guys were talking about, in that same show, Mandela had said something about the cat when they asked him about communism and stuff, and he has said he don't care about the color of the cat so long as it catches mice. Now, I don't want us to. There's a lot of some Amazonians or some school of thought out there that they want to compare. The way African Americans fought civil rights in this country versus the way we should we should proceed with our struggle. I think that the case in Cameroon is a lawless country, and
right.
they don't even have a constitution. In this country, everything they have checks and balances. They have, they have a constitution. I mean, they have a process that works. So they could do some peaceful demonstrations, and in this country, it doesn't necessarily mean that in Cameroon we should do that approach.
You can do the same in Cameroon.
We can or we can't?
We cannot.
Yes, because the stage over there is different. It's very different.
Right.
And so that's one thing. But also, I was worried. I don't want us to. I think I agree with Dr. Bini when he said something about not talking too much, about speculating about what's going on. I feel like it can alter the outcome of what Yaounde has in mind. We can put ideas in their head. So, I don't know, because that regime is very unpredictable. They're watching you, they're listening to everything you're saying right now.
You are right. However, we are not making recommendations. The only recommendation we are making is release them, because they should not be there in the first place.
They should not be in the first place. I agree. Yes, I agree, Prof. Comrade. Well, I had one more thing to say, got off my mind, but thanks for the show. Thank you, Comrade.
All right, thank you for the call. Hello. Hello.
Yeah, greetings, Mr. Crisano.
Greetings, sir. Where are you calling from?
Yeah, I'm calling from Grand One, and I'm a soldier.
Okay, what is on your mind, sir?
Yeah, I would like for you speaking.
Okay.
Yeah, I would like to go straight away to this point where the guest today talk about let us educate ourselves about the struggle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, waiting I get to talk for that point. And I say, I appreciate the fact say he talks say make we educate ourselves concerning the struggle. But secondly, he's supposed to understand say, the vision between the people them for federation and the people them for independence. Now two separate initiatives.
Right.
Even if we get meetings with them, which is very, very unfair to have meetings with them, but we can cooperate, such as seeing somebody as my brother, is my brother, is my sister, is not an enemy. But having meetings with those people to know their mind is like trying to tell them what you are planning to do to gain that freedom, which they are against because they want federation. Secondly, he talk about nobody should be going around carrying a gun without the notification of the center, whatsoever I say. Yeah. Which is why I want to talk for that point. I say, as an Ambazonia activist, will be if you give an account for Ambazonian soldiers where they on ground, the crisis begins since 2018 where we say we start use guns. If you give an account for how many barracks, genuine barracks where they on ground, when we talk about the sensitization of our people, there are some strategies that this will need for the come together to implement them. Such as if we know say, okay, Bamenda, Bafu the gate barrack, Widikum the gate barrack, Bali the gate barrack, we know say, okay, for the whole Bamenda we get like 5 barracks, and each barracks we know their amount of soldiers, so that in case of supplying things, goods, we're not supposed to specify them. We know say, okay, these people they did in 10, this one they did in 3. This one they did in 4. He used to
All right.
initially.
I get the point. I get the point you are trying to talk about, but there are certain things we not fit talk for television. You know so now.
No, another one very well, pa. Another one very well.
So thank you for the call.
No, you are welcome.
All right. Hello.
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 Hello, Secretary Chris.
Hello, sir. I can hear you. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Ground Zero.
Okay, what is on your mind, sir?
So, what is in my mind is that the man corner you, thing where they talk. I'm calling from Ground Zero.
Yes, I can hear you. Go on.
So I will speak in the pidgin.
Yes, that's fine.
So, thing where I want to talk now, say, Secretary Chris, we appreciate you for your effort where you do plenty, because you be like God and you be like Messiah for Ground Zero.
Okay.
Yeah, so anytime when you want to come for online to give speech to us, so you did ever do fine, because all picking them part they always the listing for you for Ground Zero. We hope on you, not on anyone. So don't cooperate with those people that don't cooperate with people that they cannot that they are in federation. Don't cooperate with them, because they will deceive you to join La Publique de Cameroon.
All right. Thank you for the call. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Hey, hello, Comrade Chris. This is Metre Nekom from the Netherlands again.
From the Netherlands. Good to hear your voice, sir. What is on your mind?
Yeah, what is on my mind is I really want to comment on the upcoming case about Sisiku'S and the narrative. Actually, yeah, we Ambazonians, all of us, we should be very happy that this case is coming up again. And what I would like to state here is that I don't think there should be much expectation from Yaounde. Yaounde, I think, is playing more to a gallery somehow, because when you see the tail wagging the dog, it means something is coming from other. I've been following this case equally at the Nigerian judiciary, and I think the more pressure is coming somewhere from outside, not from within the Republic of Cameroon. I think that the Republic of Cameroon has a hot rod now, being pushed into its system against this very, very case. So I think let's just be hopeful to see that maybe they can return this case back to just send them out free. They are not supposed to be there, like you said, my brother Chris. Actually, they are not supposed to be there. And what surprises me equally again is about my able comrade and brother, big senior, Mr. Ebini. You know, our Naira 10, they have maintained steadily all these years that they don't recognize that Republic of Cameroon. They know themselves as Ambazonian. But I still find it difficult that a very staunch supporter of the Naira 10 as Mr. Bini is still rattling with finding difficulties pronouncing the words Ambazonia out of his mouth. So it's a bit disturbing. I think it should have been one of the bigger voices standing here and say, hey, Ambazonia, we are one and we have to stand behind our people. Now, mincing word by coming to say Southern Cameroonian and the whole Ambazonia project, it's a bit confusing and it's a bit disturbing, Mr. Bini. I think should understand that a very vast majority of our people have decided that we just want complete independent from that Republic of Cameroon, and we are Ambazonian. Southern Cameroonian can be like the official name called, but let's call ourselves the name we want to give ourselves. So that's what I would like to chip in here to my able brother and senior. Mr. Bini, please try to laugh a bit.
Sorry.
I will let him respond to you briefly, please. Thank you for the call.
No, I have no response. Right. That's his opinion, and that's his opinion. And I think that opinion, the way it is being interpreted, and when people say things that is not what people would like to hear, it's very difficult for our people to take it. But I've explained the Southern Cameroons. This revolution is about Southern Cameroons. We use the history of Southern Cameroons. And I know that many Southern Cameroonians, the people who are fighting for Southern Cameroons, like Cameroon Anglophone Movement, the AAC and SCNC, for a while resisted the Ambazonian option that were presented, but we have evolved to this place now, and we are not going all of us together. But I agree that if we are on Ambazonia and we're solidly together, those of us on what I would still say the Ambazonian project, in calling ourselves Ambazonia, if we're solid, part of the nuances and all the disturbances that are kind of tainting us amongst our own people, even those who support Ambazonia, amongst our own people and the international community would have never been. And so I'm just talking that we should stop all the empty bravado talks and face our own challenges and issues and try to make a better path for ourselves. If it's Ambazonian, we should be solidly together. We should not be having a lot of multiplicity and people not talking to each other and all that, like that weakens us, that make us look like a laughing stock. So I have no problem with us being called Ambazonian, but we cannot also escape from the reality that we are Southern Cameroonians, and we have not yet had that constituted place where we all come and agree on what our name would be for going forward. That time would come. So for now, let us manage things. When we falter somewhere, we should accept it and make amends and try to make ourselves stronger. Not the always rush to only say things that push or make somebody feel good and push the other person down. That has not been very good for us.
Sisiko, when did you become a skeptic of Ambazonia? I remember from the very onset, you were so much within. I remember from the days of, what was the name of, Bo Hebert's group was called what?
Which group, Bo Hebert?
Yes.
Chris, I know you want to mention Bo Herbert. You know that I ran into problem just bringing you into Bo Herbert's group.
But the point I'm trying to
So
say is,
here's the thing. When we evolved into this Amazonian level of being Amazonian, but it was not everything and the way things were being done, even within Morris, that I
yeah,
agree with.
Morris, that's the name of the group.
Yes, even within Morris, that I agree with. Morris to me was, you know, that Morris came even before the Skakov, right?
Yeah, yes.
Yes, Morris came before Skakov at the time when Morris was formed. I think
Skakov
December
was supposed to
2nd,
be
if
the
I'm not mistaken.
amalgamation of the different groups.
That's what Morris was supposed to be. So, but when we created Morris, it was a meeting that Elvis Cometa and myself called in my office, and Bo Herbert and the others were there. Hello, are you there? Hello, Chris. Are we okay? Chris, 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 are you okay? Hello, hello. Hello, Chris. Are we still on?
Are you ready to unlock the power of AI? Mastering AI Tools, a practical guide to ChatGPT and OpenAI, is your ultimate gateway course to harnessing AI in your career or studies. Provided by Pascal Presentations LLC, a trusted name in cutting-edge education, this course empowers you with the skills needed to navigate and utilize AI effectively. Whether you're a professional looking to boost productivity, a student wanting to stay ahead, or an everyday person trying to upgrade your knowledge on this transformative technology, this course gives you hands-on experience and practical tools to make AI work for you. Don't wait for the future. Start mastering it today. Enroll.
ABS can help you reach your target audience like never before. Advertising on ABS, you'll benefit from our extensive reach and dedicated viewership. We offer special advertising packages during primetime slots and popular shows. You'll also be featured on our social media platforms, reaching an even wider audience. Don't miss out on this opportunity. Take your business to the next level. Contact our advertising team at absafricativ@gmail.com. ABS can help you reach your target audience.
All right. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. The battery of my microphone ran dead. I could hear Ebony out there, but of course, he couldn't hear me because my microphone was dead. So if you are still there, Ebony, I'll bring you in back shortly. But let me remind the audience that the call line is still open. If you want to call in, the phone line is there on your screen. Go ahead and call in if you want to contribute. But Sisiko, you were talking about Morris and how it emerged.
Yeah, I was telling you that when we saw what was happening, immediately the lawyers took to the streets that was in November 2016. In December, we called a meeting, Cometa and myself in my office, to try to see how we can put forces together. And it's from that meeting that Morris was formed. Well, Bo Herbert has a different story about that, and I don't really bother about it. I just deal with my own conscience and my own truths. And you can see that I am still always standing in this revolution because I don't play games and I don't tell lies. I don't go about manipulations and all that kind of stuff. I have been here since the days of CAM, as a founding member of CAM. And I'll be here until when the last energy in me is sucked out.
But talking about that, though, I realize in the course of this struggle, the 9 years, that is you find it very difficult to belong to identify with any group. You either get into a group, walk out, or like in the case of Morris says, no, we don't want you here. Why is it that you cannot identify? Because you are in the position where you can rally people around you. You have actually done a great job raising funds for the prisoners. That is the kind of leadership, if you have brought into any of the groups, you will be very useful, but you really never belong to any group.
Well, here's the thing. Where's Morris? Is Morris here?
Who?
Is Morris still here?
Of course, Morris is not still here. We know that.
Okay. Do I have to belong to a group when they become wayward? They lack accountability. For instance, let's not go very far. Just even groups that I belong, that like the IG, you ask for accountability. You were in the IG and you saw how I was helping out. Should I go along with all what was going on because I want to belong when they cannot account for the monies that people give them? When they go and engage in things that are seen as criminal? No. There's no, I belong. Like right now, you are doing what you're doing. Am I not there with you? When there's a place and I see that it's something that is a good fit for me, I would help, whatever I help. When this thing started, I told, even when they were forming things like government, people called me for positions. I said, no, I've already retired from leadership. I helped in building this revolution from scratch, from the days of camp to where we are today. Now, well, let me not say from where. So at now, it's for younger people to take over control. I can only be in assist, not in any kind of active leadership position. Once in a while, because we sit and I don't see any channel where we are doing things like right now, I have a group of people that we work together to help in feeding the prisoners. That's where I find my comfort.
We're going to leave it there. We won't go deeper than this. Thank you for joining me. I look forward. Let's all observe what happens in Yaounde beginning Thursday at the trial and see what the outcome is.
You want me to say something?
What did you say?
No, I thought we are close, or you want me to say something?
Oh yeah, no. I was just that was just the last comment there. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate it.
All right, thank you, and have a great day.
At this moment, ladies and gentlemen, the night is far gone, and we're going to call it a day here. Thank you for tuning in. I look forward to being back here on Monday with what is cooking in La République du Cameroon, maybe Africa too. Thank you once more for tuning in. I'll leave you with this. All right.
Support ABS Africa TV, empower African voices, and change the narrative. For far too long, Africa's stories have been told by others, through lenses tinted by the agendas of legacy media, often funded by Western interests. These narratives have painted a skewed picture of a continent brimming with resilience, innovation, and untold potential. But now it's time for change. It's time for Africans to tell their own stories. At Africa Broadcasting Service ABS, we are on a mission to redefine how Africa is reported. But this mission is not something we can achieve alone. We urgently need your help. Our vision is clear: to hire and train a new generation of community reporters and citizen journalists who will capture the pulse of Africa, reporting on the issues that matter most, from human rights and good governance to climate change and environmental justice. Armed with nothing more than smartphones and their untamed determination, These reporters will uncover the stories that legacy media too often ignore. We need to provide training and equipment to these storytellers so they can report on Africa as it truly is. We cannot do it without you. Your donation, whether big or small, will help us give Africa's unsung heroes the voice they deserve. Together, we can disrupt the old narratives, challenge stereotypes, and paint a truer, richer picture of Africa. This is more than just supporting journalism. It's about empowering a continent. It's about justice. It's about truth. Together, let's tell Africa's story. Please join our GoFundMe and donate now.
Et tu ne connais pas danser le sasingal. Yaounde Mbole, Mama Talaku, Una Shidon for down. If you come on Cameroon, I don't know for dance sasingal. Yaounde finish, Mama Deli. Hey, if you come on Tabi Combo, I don't know for dance sasingal. Yaounde Dele, Woi Yamo, Sasingala oh Sasingala, Sasingala oh Sasingala. Sasingala oh, Sasingala. Sasingala oh, Sasingala oh, Sasingala oh, Sasingala oh. Young Slim, Sanga. Yemma, charges you when man there for your corner. Kobo not there for pocket. You come up for sour, enter for corn. You want show say men them day. Eze buru buru. You buy one kazier, you can buy 10. Fabukuno. What's your profit a man to gain the whole world and loses his soul? I love you, Nibena. Man must not live by bread alone. Kanatuna waba, kanatuna wa. Robusta nakibiti, you don't fall down. 237 town crier. Tell them. For me second. Under fear. To the line. What was it about crazy Buna? Bamendians speaking them. Buna wake up for all. Time don't reach me go show us style. Sasingala, Sasingala, Aleppo. Sasingala now we bring her from Aleppo. I said the one na dance for Aleppo. Sasingala now we bring her for Aleppo. Aleppo, now for Aleppo. Sasingala now we bring her for Aleppo. The one na dance for Aleppo. Sasingala na we bring up for Aleppo. Aleppo, na for Aleppo. Hey man, I wanna do the job. Si tu viens d'Afrique et tu ne connais pas danser le sasingal, Yaounde Mbole, no one Alexin Kim. If you come to Cameroon, I don't know for dance sasingal. Yaounde finish. If you come out to be combo, I don't know for dance sasingal. Yaounde Dele, Woi Yamo, Sasingala oh Sasingala, Sasingala oh Sasingala, Sasingala oh Sasingala, Sasingala oh Sasingala oh Sasingala oh Sasingala oh. Tana bobe tomo matin. All man for straight line. Yes sir. All man for straight line. Yes sir. Ekate, 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 ekate. Tout le monde a attention. Face forward. Astanda is Rebo. Ekate, 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 ekate. Who's the master Evo? You know banana delio. You know sasa delio. You know banana delio. You know sasa delio. Can't quit to the Lion King. Lingala m'a touché. C'est pour vous, on va danser. Combien d'abord les États-Unis? Nanjara, Akim Makule, Nanjara,